Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kennel NRL podcast, where an opposing podcast from the team we're versing comes behind enemy lines to talk everything about the upcoming game. And once again, we're very, very happy to be graced by the presence of Lincoln from the United podcast. Lincoln, welcome and thank you for coming back on, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother. You, if you remember last time, you slipped the boot into me right at the last second, and you got it right, the 13 plus. I haven't forgotten that, mate. I haven't forgotten that. But no, great to be back on, mate. Great to be back on. Loving your work, brother. You guys are absolutely killing it. So, no, it's a pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me back, dude.
It's also, man, like, your stuff's fantastic. A lot of the stuff that you guys do as well, like a lot of the social media content as well, like I love it. And a lot of the stuff we want to do moving forward in terms of your player of the week and stuff, we're sort of really jealous of the kind of stuff that you're doing. So, you guys are paving the way. And I love when like content creators and footy fans come together. Honestly, this is the reason why I sort of got into podcasting to begin with. It's to meet, the diehard fans from other clubs. It's to have some banter. And look, let me tell you, you're not going to be happy with this, but I reckon we'll do 13 plus on you guys again.
Oh,
just to put it out there right in the beginning.
Get out.
Right in
No
the beginning.
way. No way, brother. No way. Unlike you guys, we are completely unaffected by Origin. All right. You might have broken our captain. You busted his foot last time we played, but mate, you got some big outs, man. You got some big outs. So
look, I'm with you, but I also think that the doggies are better now than they were when we versed you guys a few weeks ago, and I think that we have a better definition of who the team is moving forward. Having said that, you guys have been on absolute roll. And in fact, the last game you've lost was actually against the Bulldogs 5 or 6 weeks ago.
That's right, mate. 4-game win streak, fresh off the bye. No KP, so we've had to not reinvent the wheel, but we're sort of back where we were last year. We had, obviously, it was very well documented, KP out with the HIAs, and it's stripped back the basics, defense orientated first. We obviously, Davey Armstrong, undefeated David Armstrong, just come in, plugged in seamlessly. He's not playing like Kalyn Ponga, but he's just doing what he does best, which is excellent. And for us, the Knights, it's gritty, not pretty at the moment. It's not champagne rugby league, but it's getting the job done, mate. It's getting the job done. So I'd like to feel, and I certainly feel that month of football after that loss to you guys, I feel like we've really found an identity too. We were sort of, very, very inconsistent team. We're certainly nowhere near our ceiling. Absolutely, like that 10-game win streak last year. We're certainly not there yet, but yeah, it's good. It's good, mate. It's great to have 4 wins in the bag. Get the bye. The bye couldn't come quick enough for us, to be honest. So yeah, feeling pumped, mate. It's gonna be a good game. Going to be a good game.
Look, I think it'll be a good game too. And look, we've had a couple of losses since we've last played you guys. Our form is 3-2 since we've last played. We've had a couple of, 2-2 since we last played. We've had a couple of tough games. Went down 16-10 to the reigning premiers, and then sort of spilled our lollies against the Raiders at Magic Round, which we never seem to be able to perform well at. Believe it or not, the doggies are still having.
Oh, mate, I was there to witness that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, mate, they're the games that you look back on if you don't make the 8 and you just kick yourself. Go, how on earth did that happen? Yeah. Yes, feel your pain, brother. Feel your pain.
Another one of those, just quickly for us doggies fans, is definitely the Rabbitohs. So we lost to them, 20-16. Good old Gerard Sutton knows how to give them a leg up on Good Friday. But look, we're not there to talk about the past. We're here to talk about the future.
That's it, mate. That's it,
bro. This is becoming like a grudge match almost. Dogs and Knights, because look, I'll never forget that last year. Even though we beat you guys early in the year, 36-12, there's still a little pain in there. We need to beat you twice this year, and quite convincingly. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel like it's a bit of a failure. And to be honest, for us, this is one of those games I think we need to win if we're honest about making the top 8. That's what I genuinely believe.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's a big test, mate. Like Matty Burton, what's he? Your leading try scorer, leading point scorer. Yeah, he's certainly leading the way for your attacking kicks, kick meters, as he should. He's got the biggest guy who can put a ball into orbit, Matty Burton.
He's ridiculous.
Then obviously the poor old kick out for you guys. You finally seem to get him for a period of time, and then what's he have? 5-6
4 to
weeks or
6
something
weeks.
like.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
broken
sucks,
finger.
man. And then Crichton's obviously another big one. But yeah, some
Look,
big outs.
I actually think our biggest loss is Crichton. I don't think. Look, Burton's going to be a massive loss. Kikau, without a doubt, will be a massive loss. But considering how we've played when we've had injuries before, like even against Melbourne, we went down there and we had a few injuries, and we were sort of just carrying some young players on the bench, and we performed admirably and we defended the absolute lives off. Crichton's leadership, I think, is going to be the big problem. I think that he's led the team admirably on the field. If you look at celebrations, he's the first one there. If there's a try to score against us, he's the first one there. In the 78th minute, he's rallying the troops to continue to defend. Even against the Dragons, you saw it. We were leading by a ridiculous amount, and he's still rallying the troops in the 78th minute to keep defending, to keep pushing. And I think that's been a big difference between this year and last year, in that Crichton's leadership has really made a difference for the whole team. And I'm hoping some of that rubs off on Reid Marnie. He has a less...
I was going to ask, is he the captain for this week?
Yeah, so
right.
Reid is the captain for this week. So I'm hoping he doesn't get into any squabbles with Hetherington. They can put that aside.
He's a name to start, mate, or on the bench. So yeah, lucky for Reid, mate. He might be hanging around the tunnels again. Who knows? What did you make? Honestly, what did you make of that situation? As a dog supporter, like as a Knight supporter, we're thinking, oh my God, talk about a storm in a teacup. Like, come on.
I thought it was silly by Hetherington.
It's
I didn't
silly.
think like what happens on the field stays on the field. And for him to go out after Marnie in the tunnel, honestly, I thought it was unnecessary, and I thought it wasn't in the spirit of rugby league. Like we know the shit that happens on the field. It's happened for 100 years, and people generally leave, or players generally leave things out on the field. But Hetherington carried on a little bit. I thought it was a bit childish, but look, it's Hetherington. People know that he's got a temper, and honestly, as Doggies fans, I just laughed about it and moved on. But the media wanted to make a beat up about it. There's more important things to talk about. There was great footy happening. There's some contentious calls. Let's just talk about that. There's no need to, people like Hetherington and Marnie, they sell clicks. So the media is always going to try and, because there were like 5 stories, day after the next about, Hetherington this or Reid Marnie that. And, people talking about, his legacy, like Andrew Johns was saying, think about your legacy. Look, you know what? My opinion is this. Reid Marnie's legacy is going to be that he was part of the team that took the Doggies from wooden spoon and having only won 3 games in a season to making the top 8 and potentially winning a premiership if he stays around long enough. That's his legacy. His niggle's not going to be his legacy. Like you do remember that, for example, Ennis was a bit of a pest, or that Reynolds was a bit of a pest, but you also remember them as being some of the most passionate, some of the most diehard Bulldogs.
Competitive.
So it's like, what are you talking about? Think about your legacy. I just thought it was pretty silly, but I thought it was funny, bro. Honestly, I actually laughed it off. I was just like, that's pretty silly. What about you guys?
What's that, mate?
What did you guys think? Like, did you think that it was unnecessary from Hetherington, or?
Of course it's like, you guys know, Hethero's played for you guys too. Like, he's got that in him. He's couple of times the slap incidences on the field, which was silly, but for the most part, he's been vastly improved statistically, and he's a very impactful player now for us off the bench. It's good that the one thing with the Knights, unfortunately for us, is forward stocks. Probably like a lot like you guys do. We don't have a great depth in forward stocks, and at the moment, with a bit of shifting, and we've got Dylan Lucas and Kai Pearce-Paul playing such good football on the edges, it's afforded us the ability to place Tyson Frizzell off the bench. So, unfortunately, Jack Hetherington makes way because guys like Brodie Jones, for all the listeners, we obviously do deep dives into our football team, but Brodie Jones is like one of the most unsung heroes, and I think every team needs that Brodie Jones player. And if you've watched closely to the game play and you see Brodie Jones come on, he's one of the guys that he won't like. He has had a couple of highlights of recent. He had the big try-saving tackle on Brent Naden, which he absolutely shouldn't have been there, but he did it. He backed himself and great cover tackle.
Great. Yeah.
He got the try against the Titans off Jack Hetherington bashing the ball out. Jack Cogger sockers it. Bang, he's there. But just the little stuff, mate. His tackle efficiency is through the roof. As far as average meters per carry. He's killing it for us. So he's been excellent. So the fact that, Hetherington isn't playing sort of speaks to where we are with our depth, which is great for once, because it's sort of, for Knight supporters, it's one thing we're pulling our hair out is, why are we just picking the same bench forwards when they really aren't doing much? Well, unfortunately, we didn't really have anyone behind and pushing up, but I wanted to touch on, though, you mentioned Stephen Crichton, and I found it very interesting. And I wanted to ask you guys as to why, and I've got statistics, because on our Teamless Tuesday show, we love our statistics. We break down everything. And I wanted to talk about the one bloke we let go away. And I cannot believe this guy isn't even redeemed, talked about as a smoky. Jacob Kiraz. This is absolutely insane, right? Jacob Kiraz is your second highest try scorer. He's averaging 192 run meters per game. He's equal in line breaks in the NRL with 11 and 11 games. He's also the 7th in the NRL for post-contact meters with 708 in 11 games. So for us, that's Bradman best, who's ranked 16th with 614. So he's got easily another about 100 meters on Braddy. He's 6th in the NRL for tackle breaks with 58 tackle breaks in 11 games. He's also 12th in the NRL overall in offloads, 18 in 11 games. That is, I cannot believe, when I was sitting there watching that and putting that together, I'm like, how is this man not even, I know he mightn't make the team. You got some great wingers. Yeah, you got your Sawali's, Lomax, those guys, right? They're elite. But, oh my God, I would lock in, if Jacob Kiraz was picked for the Blues, he would absolutely do a job. What a sense. That I was blown away. They are some absolutely amazing statistics. And it just makes me wonder what I'm very curious as to see what you would think would be happening on that right edge, because I know they shifted Kiraz into the centers for this game, right?
Yeah.
And you brought in Blake Wilson on the wing. Interesting.
Yeah, so look, so Kiraz actually prefers to play center, believe it or not. It's a bit of a Lomax situation where
really
he considers himself more of a center than he does a winger. But having said that, look, the statistics you've just called out, we mentioned yesterday as well on our podcast. Kiraz is one of those players that will perform week in, week out. He doesn't do it with any fanfare. He doesn't have the miracle offload like Lomax does, for example. But the amount of work that he does, and this was evident last year, even in a very, very, very poor performing team, Kiraz was our shining light next to Avarillo. He was non-stop every single game. And the changes that Seraldo has made this year have only added to everything that Kiraz has done. Like, against the Dragons, he ran for 260 meters. He made two or three line breaks, scored 2 tries that he had no right to score. And he was just absolutely everywhere. And, it's easy to be a stats player where you take the easy runs, or, you take the ball from the kickoff and run it back and eat up the meters. But Kiraz, every single run is right up the guts of the defense with absolutely no self-preservation, no looking to take it soft. He runs as hard as he can, and then he keeps driving his legs. So I think he had 70 post-contact meters against the Dragons, and he's a winger. Right? Some forwards aren't getting 70 post-contact meters a game. And he is, and I said this on the pod, I'll also be saying this for a few weeks. I'm surprised that he's not in the conversation for Origin. I know as a Bulldogs fan why he's not in the conversation, and I think that there's still parts of his game where he has an error in him. But to be honest, I think that he is on form over the last 4 to 5 weeks. He's played better than Lomax.
Yeah, mate, they are incredible. Across the board, that's absolutely insane. That is such. Yeah, talk about work coming out of your own end.
Oh man, you imagine.
Has he played much center for you guys before, or has he been primarily a winger?
I think most of his games have been at wing, but he's played a few games for us at center as well. And look, he performs just as well at center. The only difference is that he does less work, sort of getting back to take the kicks and things like that. So he's just up the guts as a center. But his work rate is just, look, another one that also doesn't get mentioned often is Connor Tracy. He ran for over 200 meters for us, set up 2 tries, set up that kick for Stephen Crichton last week against the Dragons. And, one of the things that a lot of the people said about the team that we assembled for this year was, okay, these guys are utilities. The Bulldogs are just trying to sign anyone, so on and so forth. It's looking like it was a bit of a masterstroke, or very fortuitous, because the way the NRL is moving, it's being played so quick, and there are so many injuries happening that it actually benefits a team to have so many utilities that can cover so many different areas. Like you look at Kurt Mann, and he's had a stellar year for us. Sure, he's been injured, but when he's played phenomenally. But then we've got Jake Turpin. So when Mann's not playing, we've got that Jake Turpin we can bring in. And every player that comes in, it's just next man up. It's almost like the Panthers and what they do. Like they can lose 10 players to Origin. They'll bring 10 rookies and they still somehow seem to get the win, do well, and defend their absolute butts off. And I think that's why we're going to win 13 plus again this week.
Oh, I don't know about that, brother.
I've
actually got us 13 plus.
Bro, I don't do wages, but I it's going to be very interesting to see what the result is. I'll tell you why, with no disrespect. Honestly, I mean that with I mean no disrespect to you at all.
Nah, brother, lay it on me, mate. Lay it on me.
One of the things that the Bulldogs have in their favor is we have the second best defense in the league. We're averaging 17 points a game, right? And I think we're scoring about 20. We're averaging about 20 points a game. If I believe that if we keep to the Knights to 3 tries and under, we win the game. We win the game comfortably. Our defense has been suffocating teams. Even if we start slow and teams think they've got it on us, we suffocate teams, and in the second half, our points come. And so I think while the Knights have had good form, I would say that they've come up against teams that maybe haven't been in form, and there's been some close wins as well. Whereas I think the Bulldogs have good enough defense this year to potentially shut out some of that attacking prowess that the Knights have. I mean, we did it when Ponga was there in that one half, and I dare say that we could be able to cover Hastings and Cogger. Dave Armstrong will be an interesting one because I think he's fantastic. And what do you do with him when Ponga comes back? Because I don't think you can drop him to reserve game. I think he needs to stay in the team somewhere. And David Armstrong.
Oh, Armstrong. We get asked that question so much, mate. I know. Before he got called up into grade, the call was put down from Adam O'Brien back to Ronnie Griffith, the New South Wales Rugby League, New South Wales Cup, coach, to play him at wing. Because they are very much, they do want to extend David Armstrong, because we got Fletcher Sharp as well, who's is a really, really good fullback coming through the system as well, who would probably, had he have not been injured, because at the time when we had Ponga injured, unfortunately Fletcher Sharp was dealing with some hammy stuff. David Armstrong, right place, right time. He was sort of, he's come through and got the jump on Fletcher.
Third string fullback.
Gets the jump and hasn't looked back, but
right, he's not playing like third string fullback. He's fantastic.
He certainly isn't. No, super energy. I know one of the big criticisms for the Knights is support play, and it's the old adage when they say, it's not luck. It's not luck. It's the hardest working players make their own luck, and he's forever, mate, just pushing up, sniffing up on the inside. Very, very good for that. And as I said, he's not coming in trying to play like Kalyn Ponga. He's not doing like the fancy ball playing and footwork. He's just super fast, using his very, very quick, just sort of trying to burn in guys on the outside. Some really good shape off Jacko. But ultimately, I think it would be wing. That's where they're long-term probably looking at Davey Armstrong for us. But I want to get back to what you're saying, because I got some more stats for you, mate. Got some more stats. So the Knights and Bulldogs have played 27 times at McDonald Jones Stadium, okay? Mm-hmm. The Knights have won 15 of those 12 times for a 55.5% win percentage, all right? Yep. Here's another really crazy stat. Of our two teams in the last 6 appearances dating back to round 23, 2021, the team that scores first wins the game. The last 6 appearances. So whoever crosses the line, mate, or scores first, bang, they're winning. However, the Knights, we have won 3 of our last 4 when returning from the bye to play at home also. So if for all those who like your stats, we got Shawnee, who spends hours and hours compiling these random stats, making them what you will. But yeah, mate, But no, it's going to be interesting. You made some very valid points. I think defensively, believe it or not, we have made the third most amount of tackles in the league thus far, and we have the least amount of missed tackles.
In the
The
competition.
least in the competition after
That's
making
pretty
the
impressive.
third highest, which is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Because I got some average statistics here. I know the Knights rank second in post-contact meters. However, for you guys, unfortunately, which was very surprising, you guys actually rank last in average post-contact meters in the league. But you guys do rank second overall in line breaks. 5.7 per game, mate. Killing it.
And you know, the other thing, I think one of the statistics is we're either first or second. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but we're first or second for the least amount of meters conceded per set to the opposition.
I know that was
Believe it or
one of
not,
the things after our podcast last time. We had an absolutely abysmal average set distance. I think it was something like 28 meters. It was garbage. It was so bad.
And we were at 30. We had 10 more meters average per set than you guys. So you guys were at 29 meters per set. We were at 39 meters per set. And our forward pack is a lot smaller than the Knights forward pack. So again, I think when you look at all the big forward packs that we have come up against, who by every right should absolutely, run over us, we've been able to suffocate them. We've been able to hold their go forward. Like if you look in the first half against the Dragons, their forward pack is much, much bigger than ours. And in the first half, they did get the ascendancy on us. But what I thought the Bulldogs did well was they stuck to the game plan and they defended their absolute guts off. And it was our fitness that gave us the success in the back end of the game. Because by the 60th minute, the Dragons were absolutely dusted. Like they couldn't tackle to save their lives. Whereas the Bulldogs looked fresh and fit. And when you got confidence, when you're winning, when you're scoring tries, you're not going to get tired. But it just looked like all the defense that they did in the first half, when they came out, it galvanized them to just attack. It's almost like defense first half, attack second half. And we did the same thing with the Tigers. First half, we were losing 14-6, and we came out after in the second half, and they barely got into our half at all. The Dragons only had something like 29% of possession in the second half, and I think the Tigers was 35%. And that's where I think that's who the Bulldogs are. And unless you can absolutely run over us, you're not going to be able to defeat us that easily. And that's the one thing that I think the team's priding themselves on. Like even against the Dragons, you look at, they actually handled Kikau quite well. Kikau didn't have his best game against the Dragons. It was actually the right side against the Dragons that tore them to bits. I know Eisenhuth was defending at center, but we just seemed to, that's actually one of the main points I wanted to talk about was Toby Sexton. I think as an attacking team, we're a whole different outfit now with Sexton running the show. So if there were a couple of moments there where I thought what Sexton did for the team cannot actually be shown in statistics. Maybe it can be shown with heat maps and things like that, but with statistics, it doesn't show exactly what Sexton provided for the team. A couple of times, like in the first half, he made half breaks just by dummying and running. It didn't make sense at the time why he was doing that, but it may have made more sense to go out the back to Crichton, on their right-hand side. But what it did was he brought variety to our attack, something that we probably haven't had the whole year.
Bit too one-dimensional.
Variety. We're definitely one-dimensional. We were scoring down the left hand or barging over, but it was never we're absolutely killing it in attack. Sexton brought is that true number 7 ability to just provide variety. So the first kick that he put in for Burton, that came because he had set it up the previous play where he went under and then he ran and then, he looked out, saw Burton was there and he put the perfect weighted kick in. It was great by Burton to be there, to be able to get it down, but that didn't come out of nowhere. Even against the try that Burton scores later, the way Sexton is digging into the line before he's passing, and look, with all due respect to Hutchison, I think he'll do a great job at 6. But he wasn't able to, because of the lack of speed, to dig right into the line and give a crisp ball out the back, right?
Yeah.
And automatically, Sherry was into that gap, and it was so refreshing to see us being able to attack in a way that almost perplexed the defense of the Dragons, because they thought, oh, these guys are just going to put it up and then hope for the best. No, they did some things, and it was that variety he brought that kept Sloan guessing. Like there were a couple of times where he put in a grubber and Sloan wasn't at the back, and Sloan will be found out. And I think it was maybe even Jack DeBellin once where he had to go back and tap it out. And you look at our defense, our next man up, mentality, as well as improved attack, and I think we're going to be even harder to defeat come this round. However, I'll put one caveat. Knights in McDonald Jones Stadium are a tough team to beat.
Absolutely.
It's a great stadium, and they'll be tough to beat there.
Well, mate, we're the NRL wet weather specialists, mate. I think there's I think they were saying 80% chance between 20 and 40 mil. So if it's in the wet, brother, look out. We do not lose in the wet. We play particularly well, really well. I don't know whether it's with Jackson Hastings and Jack Cogger playing in the Super League, just used to those wet conditions. Their kicking game is absolutely on point.
It's fantastic.
They do because I remember watching a game. It was one of your games when it was just a week or two of just torrential rain in Sydney, and I swear I didn't see Matt Burton bomb the ball once, and I just couldn't believe it. That'd be like a cheat code. Like what's going on there?
I think that was against the Panthers where Cleary in the first half kicked the hell out of us with his precise kicking game, and we seemed not to have an answer to his kicking game. And that's where it was glaringly obvious that we're lacking in the kicking department. Burton's got the long kicking game and occasionally the high kicking game, but the offensive or strategic kicking needs to come from a natural 7. And that's what we saw from Sexton against the Dragons, I thought. And that's what I think the difference will be. How Hutchison goes at 6, I think he may actually be better suited at the 6th position, just because he doesn't have the speed to be able to dictate and control the game like Sexton does. So I think they could actually be a very, very good combination. But I agree.
Have they played any games together? Is this their first?
Absolute first.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how our team adjusts. I mean, the kick out being out factor, it's a big factor for us. It's a big loss. But again, Jacob Preston slots straight back into the starting team. Salmon did a great job for us last week, and then we've got Kurt Mann at lock, or potentially Bailey Hayward to replace him again.
So you got so Preston will slot in the left, will he, not the right? Is that right?
Actually, Salmon is probably better suited to the left, so it might be Preston right, Salmon left, because Preston's more of a right side.
That's what I thought. I don't remember him playing on the right, but yeah, Salmon killed it last week for you. He bagged 2 tries on the right edge. 2 tries,
there, so. ran for a whole heap of meters, made something like 40 tackles. He's one of those guys, as you say, he's like the unsung hero. He doesn't get the accolades. He's not the flashiest, second rower. But you can bet your ass he's going to make 40 tackles. He's going to run. He backed up twice for 2 tries. Like, it sort of got us the momentum we needed to start attacking after his tries. And, he's another unsung hero. I will give you a little bit of a tidbit that I and other Doggies fans are hypothesizing. There may be a debutant for the Bulldogs on the bench this week.
Ooh. Oh, was that I saw the kid... I couldn't pronounce his name. Is that
Lipo Hipoi?
Yes, yeah. Because when we brought him up on the team list, he didn't have a photo. Yeah, I'd never heard of the kid. Oh, very good, very good. Okay,
young kid. So just quickly, Sexton last week, he wasn't named the New South Wales Cup. He was named as 19th man for the Bulldogs, and he was brought into the team. Same thing with Lipo Hipoi, not named the New South Wales Cup, named as 19th at number 19. So I'm assuming it's either Kurtman drops out again because he's still injured, Bailey Hayward will start at lock, and Lipo Hipoi comes onto the bench.
And what's he a forward?
He's a forward. He's been playing lock, but 80 minutes in New South Wales Cup. So I'm guessing he'll get a 10, 15-minute stint off the bench at prop. But it's interesting because if he does come onto the bench, it's actually the biggest bench we've had all year with Josh Curran, Paasa Famasuli, and
he's a big boy, is he?
As well as Moment. He's quite a big boy. Big, stocky guy. So that'll be our biggest bench to sort of combat some of the bigger boys that you guys have had, that you guys have in your team. So honestly, I'm very excited for this game because I think that your team will be out to avenge the loss earlier this year, but my team will be out to prove that we're real top 8 contenders. So Honestly, it's one of those games. I was like, honestly, I just can't wait to Friday night because I love
Mate,
doggies on
we've
a
got
Friday night.
the prime time Friday game for once, yeah,
Prime
which is
time
good.
Friday night. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
well, you're speaking about your edges, and one of the really interesting things for us this week was the fact that we have Frizzell starting off the bench for us because Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas, they've been absolutely phenomenal. Like Kai Pearce-Paul coming across from the Super League, historically, it takes a little while for these guys to find their feet, and find the rhythm and the speed of the NRL, but duck to water, man. And he's just come in, and there was all the stuff about him being, he's the Super League's version of Sonny Bill, which is just, a massive title. It's
Unfair,
ridiculous. Unfair. Which
unfair.
you look at his highlights, and he's got some flair about him, but came in and it was just all grit, man. Just made his tackles, plugged into the system well. It looks like he's been played 100 games for us in this team. And then on the flip side, Dylan Lucas, I think Dylan Lucas has maybe just cracked 10 NRL games. He has just been a revelation. You saw some footwork that he put on Sam Verrills, absolutely broke the guy's ankles. Beautiful left foot step with our boy Davey Armstrong pushing up in support. He has just been phenomenal. And for Adam O'Brien to sort of to reward these guys by going, you know what? No, we got Frizz, but he's got the hammy stuff and that going on. But you guys are doing the job. I'm going to go put Frizz on the bench, which is just incredible. So I'm very, very keen to see how that works. Whether we bring Frizz in sort of 10 minutes before half time, and because he's for an old fella, mate, he hasn't lost any leg speed whatsoever. So I'd be very much looking to see him probably interjected that 10 minutes, ran some tired middles to see what he can shake out of the tree. The other big one though is, and I'm certain Cameron Serraldo and co will probably identify if there is something that we're a little bit nervous on, with obviously Bradman Best being ruled out with that grade 2 hamstring tear. Christian Mapapalangi returns.
Yes.
Gun player, just been riddled with injury. I don't know if you remember that horrible HIA he copped trying to make that tackle back in February for us. He just got it horribly wrong, came down, just knocked clean out the first tackle of the game.
I don't think I remember that.
It was terrible. Came in just bang, out cold.
Actually, I do saw it. Maybe I do remember it actually. Well, that was in the trial, wasn't it?
It was second trial,
yes,
first or
yes,
second trial.
Yes,
I can't remember. But yeah, so he's just had a horror injury run, but he comes back for the first time since round 24, 2022. So highly touted, this kid. He looked really good for us when he did plug in back in 2022, but again, hasn't been in the mix for a while. So knowing what Karaz is capable of doing, big job for Christian Mapapalangi and Greg Mazu, who's had his who's been a bit up and down.
Moments. Yeah.
Aerial, yeah. I would. How tall is Blake Wilson? Is he a bigger guy?
He's I would say he's about as tall as Karaz, maybe a little bit taller than Karaz.
Yeah, okay.
But let me tell you, I actually think Wilson will be man of the match. Wilson in the first 3 rounds was, I think, our best player. Wilson was, first 2 rounds that we lost, he was fantastic. Like, honestly, him getting dropped was just, he got sick, and then Kiraz comes in, Sherry comes in, and you just can't drop these guys because they're playing so good. You can't drop them. But I think Wilson, for a winger, he's got every single characteristic you need from an absolutely superstar winger. He's got the speed, he's got the strength, he's got the smarts, he's got the step. Maybe he needs to improve like his finishing or his last pass when he makes a break and things like that. But he's still young. He's only 21 years old. But by God, I think he is a fantastic winger, and he will give Greg Maju a lot of headaches.
Well, if it's anything aerial, because it's unfortunately for Greg, it's been the real big blight thus far on the season. Just whenever teams are really starting to identify, like he sort of cleaned it up last year, because I know when we gone from the Titans, it was always a bit of a glass cannon. He's great in attack. He's putting up Brian Toto numbers as far as meters run. He was cracking average 200 meters. He was leading tackle breaks. He was absolute beast. But defensively, it's just a couple of times in the air. Like, we were very lucky. It was the game against the Warriors. I don't know if you remember where he tackled Dallin Watene-Zelezniak in the air. Should have been a penalty try. Yes. I don't know how we got away with it.
I was very surprised that wasn't a penalty. And so you're going to hate me. You're going to hate me. But this is why I think maybe the Knights, it's great that they've won 4 in a row, but I believe that try against the Titans should have been allowed.
Oh, get out. No, bro,
He should have been allowed.
No.
And you guys won by 6, I believe, against the Warriors, or 8. And I think, you guys won by 6 against the Warriors, and I think that should have definitely been a penalty try. Kick would have been in front.
Yeah, we got to learn that one.
So I think, look, I'm definitely not downplaying that you guys aren't as bad as maybe people thought you would be with Kalyn out. But I also think that it's been very fortuitous for you guys, and you've had a good sort of good run. But I think it all changes this weekend against this Friday night.
Yeah, I have to say, like we it's not like the wins prior to that we pounded the Dragons into the earth in that wet game. I think we put 40.
That was a great performance, by the way. I have to say that was a really good performance against the Dragons.
And then we did get the win against the Storm, but they had both halves out. But you got to take the wins when they come, right?
You got to take the win against the Storm. Got to take it. You got to take it.
Yeah. So look, I'm optimistic. I generally and the fact it's a silver lining, isn't it? Like this is the first time in 6 years the Newcastle Knights have been completely unaffected by Origin, not one player. So it does suck. You don't have the Origin caliber players in your team, but the silver lining is, look, there's no reshuffling. You keep the momentum going. Nothing really changes. That's the silver lining to it all. That's how we're going to look at it anyway. So I don't know. I think we can go on a little bit of a run here. If we get the little stuff right, as I said, it's all gritty, not pretty for the Knights. It's not champagne rugby league. It's what do we call it? Like Tui's new rugby league at the moment. It's
Tui's, absolutely.
It'll get the job done, but it's not the top shelf, but gets the job done, brother. And we have scraped by some. But with that being said, man, like the Gold Coast Titans, like people asked us on the show, like, what's the big scalp for the Knights? Similar to you, like, okay, you've beaten these teams. So like, okay, at the time, you probably looked and going, yeah, you beat the Titans. You came back against the Titans. They put, I think, 24 points on us in 22 minutes. It was horrible. I was there to witness it at Magic Grand. And but however, we came back. They didn't fire a shot on us the whole second half. I don't care what you say about Brian Kelly. He absolutely fumbled that ball. And we win the game. And then fast forward a week, I'm sitting there and I can't believe my eyes that they put 36 points on the Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Broncos lose. So you look at it and go, okay, well, are the Titans like one of the worst 2-8 teams ever? And maybe there's a better scout. Are they premiership threat? No. But they probably are a better football team than perhaps maybe the ladder might suggest. So I don't know. I think
much, much better than the ladder suggests. And they've been very unlucky with injury. Like they've got 5 of their biggest players out, and they're performing, how they are. For me, it's just like, it's remarkable that they were able to beat the Broncos in Brisbane. The way they did. I watched that game and I was like, no way this is happening. No. This can't be happening. This is not going to happen. And then they win by 2 and I'm just like, what just happened? And I saw it unfold. It's like car crash unfolding. I saw it unfold. I was like, this is not going to happen. It happens. And then after it happens, you're like, I can't explain that. And, it goes to show the quality of Des as a coach. But look, you're right. I take your point. But I want to just quickly go back to something you said a while ago about Paul. I love him as a player. I think he's fantastic. I hope that he stays in the NRL for his whole career because he's going to be special. And the Knights got a very, very good one. I'm also very, very keen to see more of Will Price.
We get that every week.
I thought he would have had his shot this week instead of. I mean, I don't know if he can play center. I thought maybe there'd be some.
He played a lot of his career in the Super League in center. I think a bulk of it was actually in center, then a little bit in fullback, and then 5'8". It's weird. I don't know what he's not doing either at training or New South Wales Cup because he certainly had some defensive issues in Cup. He didn't sort of take to it quite as quickly as Kai did, but in recent weeks, he's actually had a pretty big hand in getting us into games. It hasn't been a great season for our New South Wales Cup team, but it's we get asked all the time, what's going on with Kai Paul? When is he going to play? In my heart of hearts, I genuinely believe Will Price has a part to play in the story of the 2024 Knights. I just do. And I've got this, I keep saying, I've got this feeling that when we play him, it'll be a lot like Davey Armstrong, where we'll go, why didn't we play this guy 2 months ago? I just feel like he might be one of those guys, because he's so unorthodox and just uber X factor, that it might just, because people keep thinking that he's like a rookie. It's like he's not a rookie, man. He's played on the biggest stages in the Super League.
Yeah.
So it's not about that, but he could be just one of these guys that comes and just thrives in grade. I'm very
keen. Could be a moment
thing.
Yeah, it could be like just that moment hasn't arrived for him. I think, and look, I see parallels with Toby Sexton, right? We've been calling for Toby Sexton from round one.
Yeah, what's with that? Because I hear that all the time, where Bulldogs for weeks have been going, why isn't Sexton in, and why is Drew getting the sort of the nod over Toby? And
look, we as Doggies fans, we have theories, and some of them make more sense than others. But what I think it comes down to this: if you bring Toby Sexton in, we haven't defined ourselves as the defensive team that we know we are now. He comes in, his confidence is shot, has a couple of bad performances. What you effectively do is you end his career at the Dogs. He doesn't provide the attack that we need, especially like after 2 poor performances in the first 2 games of the season. And you bring him in, and he may not be ready. He maybe hasn't cooked enough in New South Wales Cup, and you kill his confidence, and then essentially you write him off. Or you could do what Cameron Serraldo did is, okay, so he brought Drew Hutchison to do a job, and he's done it. He did a great job at holding the 7th position until Toby Sexton was ready, so to speak. He helped build the defensive definition of the Bulldogs, build the team culture of being defense first, next man up. And then once we felt like we were in a stronger position, we'll make the call to bring him up. Or once we felt like now the redevelopment of the Bulldogs defense is done, now the next phase of the Bulldogs development is attack, then you bring Sexton in. Because Sexton isn't the type of player that you could essentially use to help build defensive structure. Whereas Hutchison is a toiler. Hutchison is a hard worker. He's a speaker. He's loud on the field, but he'll make you 40 tackles. A halfback should never be making 40 tackles a game. But that's what he did. And so for me, sure, it took some time, but I also think it took courage for Serraldo to say, okay, now we've done our time building our defense. Now it's time we build our attack. And I just think that sometimes the coach has to pick his moments, and I think sometimes fans just have to trust the coach.
Yeah.
And that's genuinely what I believe. And, as fans, we may not like it. We may say, oh, this guy's an idiot, doesn't know what he's doing. But you look at the turnaround that the Bulldogs have had since last year. We were last in defense by a big way. We're second in defense this year, almost halfway through the season. And credit where it's due. Serraldo's done a freaking fantastic job, right? So it's like, trust the coach, let him make some of those decisions. As fans, we're going to criticize, but ultimately, I think the coach, has been really, really smart in bringing on youngsters. Like, for example, Sam Hughes, in the beginning of the year, he was on the bench, he was getting 10, 15 minutes, and everyone's like, what the heck is going on? Now he's playing 40, 50 minutes, making 150 meters, making 30 tackles a game, 30, 40, 50 post-contact meters, and making some big plays for us, but he's doing it relatively quietly. And that's because I think Serraldo brought him in correctly. He didn't throw him in the deep end. And that's why I say maybe this coach knows what he's doing. Because, don't forget, he brought Preston in and made him who he is today as a player. He brought Wilson in. He brought Bronson Sherry back. So there's a lot of things that he's done well. And it's like, okay, you know what? I think the coach is starting to prove himself. I want to trust his decisions. That's sort of my thinking as a fan.
Yeah, and that's probably it. It's probably drawing parallels to us with Will Price as well. Everyone loves to go, mate, just chuck him in there. But yeah, you're right, because it's funny you say that too, because I remember at the time when the team was announced at Magic Round to take on the Titans, obliterated with injuries. Brimson out, Foran out. They were all over the shop. Then they named this halves pairing. We're going, what on earth is this?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I didn't think Clarkey and BKR, the boys that run the Titans podcast, I reached out to them going, mate, I need some insight in this team list. I can't what is this? And they go, mate, your guess is as good as ours. This is the most hodgepodge thrown together. We don't know. And young Tommy Weaver.
But I mean, you could see that he was gonna like. Honestly, I said it to a friend of mine. We were talking about our tips. I was like, "There's no way this is the house pairing." Tom Weaver. Look, he's not injured. Tom Weaver's gonna be in there. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, Des has done something stupid like that before. I remember he played Tony Williams at 7 or at 6, and Mick Ennis. It was some weird combination, years and years ago, and we actually won the game. It was against Manly. So, Des Hasler has form, but I just thought Tom Weaver was definitely coming in. And let me tell you, I think he's done very well. For a young kid who's come in, to cover for some big shoes, he's done
Tommy
very
Weaver
well for the Titans.
Yeah, man. Well. Yeah, I was surprised because the guys did say he's got the wrist injury. Goes he'd be 50-50 to play, but I thought, oh man, I was overconfident, thinking, oh mate, why'd you throw him in the deep end? That the night we're coming in three straight, you're obliterated with injuries. You're going to chuck this young kid. You think he's going to make the difference, but what do I know, mate? Nearly got us. He nearly got us. He played really well. His kicking game was sensational.
I mean, if you ask me, I think they did, but who's asking me, eh?
Mate, I still remember just seeing that. You probably saw the footage, us in our full kit wanker outfits.
I did.
Mate, my hands on the back of the heads. I was literally in that moment thanking the rugby league gods. I'm just going, oh my God, I can relax now. I was a very angry man at halftime.
I could only imagine what it was like, especially being there at Magic Round. All right, so he's this. I want to know who's the danger man for the Bulldogs.
For the Doggies, looking at it for me, I really am scared of Jacob Kiraz. Not only are those statistics very, very scary, he's got a very, very, depending on who it is, whether it is Preston or you do have Salmon playing on that edge inside of him. The fact that we've got Christian Palangi there, I would be very, very surprised if the lion's share of ball isn't sent down your right edge, because you've got a guy coming in. Because Gagai and Anari on the other edge, super solid. Along with Lucas, been very good. Question marks around Cogger, and when we did the breakdown of our game against you guys last, the one thing. Cogger does have some defensive issues. Like, I don't think he trusts any young player. He just kept jamming in on Lucas, and Kikau just had so much space. But I just got a feeling it's going to be a line share down that side with Kiraz and Wilson. But you got some bloody handy players on the other edge with Sherry and Addo Carr as well. And the other side of it is the aerial assault that I'm worried about with Josh Addo-Carr. So maybe ball in hand. I'm going to be a bit apprehensive if I see Kiraz sort of get a bit of early ball. I don't know how it's going to work. I wouldn't at all be surprised if we might see a shift on the edges. I'm just a little worried defensively. I just plugging him in. I know Kai Pearce-Paul's solid as a rock with Christian Palangi and Gregi Marzhew. Could be a bit.
Might be a bit of an issue there. Yeah,
could be. Look, and if I see Sexton or Drew kicking over towards Marzhew, and if Blake Wilson's got half a jump on him, I'm going to be really worried, because a lot of teams have looked at that recently and had a lot of joy. So kicking across field to Greg Marzhew, I'm going to be worried. And if Jacob Kiraz gets a bit of steam up and gets some good quality early ball, running at maps, I'm going to be that's for me. In the middle, I feel pretty confident in the middle. Like, historically, when we got pulled apart in that Titans game, it was all on our edges, man. Edges just, and I just think it's the old, like, you can't be up for every game. They're all human. I think we've had so many tough games going into that. We fell off a bit, and then luckily we had enough resolve to come back and fight in the second half. But the week off will bode us well. The middle's been very, very solid for us. We genuinely don't leak a lot of points in the middle. It's pretty rock solid. So that would be where I would think, if I was Cameron Serraldo, that's probably where I would be looking at. That they would be the chinks, the little chinks in the armor that I would possibly be exploiting for the Knights.
I want to say that, or this is where I think the danger men for the Bulldogs are. I think that it's going to be Wilson up against Marju. It's not just the aerial game though. I think that Wilson is very, very quick, and Marju has a problem defending laterally. So I think that what we might see from Kiraz is maybe draw Maps and Marju in, and then offload to Wilson, a breakdown, or even Connor Tracy getting the ball and then throwing the pass, a cutout pass straight to Wilson. Because Marju also, I feel, has a tendency to come in a little bit, especially if he's got a younger defender inside him.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going to be targeting, and it's going to go a lot down that side. But then they're going to throw some curveballs and go straight to Fox, because I think even with Inari's good, but I think also Inari has a brain fade in him. And the speed of Fox is still the biggest threat. I think it's still one of our biggest threats. The biggest threat from the Knights, for the Bulldogs, and you may find this surprising, I actually think Dane Gagai. Every single time Dane Gagai has played us, he's absolutely torn us apart. Every single time.
Yeah,
that's where my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear is and the thing is, Sherry has the defensive misread in him. And he's done it multiple times. Done it multiple times against the Dragons. It's happened. Against the Tigers. I believe it's happened also against the Raiders. So I'm apprehensive about Gagai coming up against Sherry, and it's only because Gagai's got that fend. He's very strong. He still has some speed about him for the old guy. So that's where I think if they shift early ball to Gagai, he can get around Sherry, and Ari's quite quick. And that's one of the benefits of having like Gagai and Ari there, where you can get the offload across or a quick pass. So that's where the danger is for us.
Well, he's our leading tackle breaker, Gags. He's winding back the clocks, mate. I was so stoked when he brushed the Roosters, re-signed with us. Great. I'm so happy he's going to finish his career as a Knight.
Oh man, he shouldn't go to the Roosters, man. I was happy that Fafita brushed the Roosters, to be honest. The Roosters seem to be able to sign.
Yeah, what's going on there? Even Sean Johnson, mate. It just makes me worried though. I just, a couple of our boys, looking at Will Price, Kai Pierce-Paul, like these guys have they're off contract in November. Leo Thompson. He's going, where do they turn their sights to next? Because it's very unlikely not to get what they want, the Roosters.
I think it's about time they got their comeuppance, I think.
Oh, mate, I love it.
They're going to hate me for it.
I love it, brother. I love it, man. I do not like the Roosters whatsoever, mate. So they took Dom from us.
Virtual high five, bro. I don't think anyone likes the Roosters other than Roosters supporters.
we can all rally behind that cause, right?
I agree, bro. 100%. Hate the Roosters, hate the Eels, hate Manly. I think that's what everybody hates. I don't know if you hate the Eels, but I hate the Eels. And look, let me tell you, it makes me very, very happy that they're doing so poorly. but honestly, it brings me so much joy. But let me tell you, I thought Brad Arthur was an absolute class act. Every time he went on the news, bro, I was just like, you know what? He's probably better off not being at the Eels. I hope he goes to another team and he kills it and he wins a premiership at another team, because the way he spoke about the Eels, the way he spoke about the team, and the way the players spoke about him even afterwards shows that while the results weren't coming, the team still loved him and was playing for him. It's rare. It's like, why did they make that decision? And why did they make it then? Why didn't they wait to the end of the year, give him a chance to have Gutho and Moses come back, see what happens with the fortunes change? And Wayne Bennett was already gone to the Rabbitohs anyway, so what benefit?
I think maybe that was their last ditch play. Maybe if they didn't, if they had a crystal ball and go, well, no, there's no way Bennett's not going to go to South. Maybe that was literally like, if we don't do this now, we're no chance. So let's do it. But yeah, it's very rare, isn't it, for a coach to leave under such good circumstances. You hear the stories of they lost a lot, like Demetrio, they've lost a locker room, and you got the whole Sam Burgess, and it's just so much drama. It's good. It's more of a good riddance, where Brad Arthur is a bit of a sad story that everyone kind of loved him. The players loved him, which is interesting that now it just makes me wonder, once players come onto them, like now Brad's not there, because I know I'm not sure if you guys would have seen him or not. I know he's toured our facilities in the Dragons at Blaze Talangi, that young fullback that got there.
I don't think we've got I don't think the Doggies have spoken to him, but like we're speaking to Angus Crichton. So like, I think it's interesting as well. You're right. Like even Lomax, there's some talks, my co-host is a Dragon supporter, and, apparently there's some little murmurs going around there where the Dragons are trying to convince
Well, why wouldn't
Lomax
there
to
be?
backflip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. That's why, like, that decision from the Eels is just one of those ones where it doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing I think the Eels have done wrong is, they haven't focused on their juniors. They focused on buying some big name players and don't really have like a 5-10 year plan. It's like, no, we need to break this 38-year drought. And, it's like, I don't know if it happens like that. And to be honest, I don't think, for example, Clint Gutherson is the fullback to get them there. Genuinely.
I'm with you, brother. I think he's a great player, but at no point in
too.
time are you looking to Clint Gutherson. He's not a Kalyn Ponga type player. It sounds biased, but Kalyn Ponga can win you a game just on sheer brilliance.
On his own. Yeah, absolutely.
Clint Gutherson, to his merit, he'll tackle for days. He'll do all that stuff, but he's not the player you're going to go, where's Clint? We need to win this game. He's just not. He's not that dude.
And you know what's interesting? That even though Dylan Edwards isn't the flashy player, he'll win you games. Whereas I don't think Clint Gutherson has that in him. I think he's just solid without being great. And I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but I actually think that Mitch Moses is not a grand final winning halfback and never will be. That's genuinely what I believe. Look, he's a leb. I'm a leb. Like, I support him. I want him to do well. You know, like legit. Like, I'm not trying to bag him out just for the sake of it. But I think they spend more time. Him and Clint spent more time sooking to the refs and sort of being the victim as opposed to taking the losses on the chin, growing from them and learning it. And I feel like it's been a trend with the Eels for a long time. Like you look at Luai, for example, he's the villain. And, he gave Salmon a spray on the field, prior. But he doesn't sit there and whinge. He's a villain. He makes a mistake. He cops it on the chin, moves on, keeps trying, keeps coming back. Sometimes I just feel like Moses doesn't have that. Like, it's like he almost gets in his own head about things going wrong. And he feels like instead of him changing the situation, the whole situation's against it. I don't know. I've thought so much about this because
doesn't sort of look inwards.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, okay.
He's another Robbie Farah. But
yeah, okay. All right. Actually,
I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway.
One thing that I'm absolutely perplexed with, it's slightly off topic. Matty Burton, why is he not on the bench for the Blues? He has to be there come game day. Has to be.
I reckon he will be.
He has to be.
I actually think that, I think they're playing smokes and mirrors.
I think so too.
Yeah, I don't think Hudson Young will be on the bench. I think it'll be Burton.
Has to be.
You look at Billy Slater. Like, honestly, I have a lot of respect for. I hate Queenslanders. I hate Queensland. Like, I genuinely, when it comes to Origin, I loathe, despise, and absolutely abhor Queenslanders. But Billy Slater is a fantastic coach and a fantastic footy head. The guy's genius, and he knows exactly why he's chosen Selwyn Cobbo. Because the Blues lost the series last year because Tommy Turbo went down and we had Damien Cook at center. That's why we lost.
Yeah.
Right? This year, he knows the game's quicker this year. The rules have changed. There's more chance that someone gets sin bin and there's more chance that someone gets injured. You bring on a guy like Selwyn who can cover, 1 through 5 and then potentially could cover, come in and play up the middle for 10, 15, 20 minutes, give a prop, a bit of a spell and then be off again. He can cover all those positions. Burton is of the same mold. You can throw Burton at center. You could throw Burton at 13, at 6, at 7. Honestly, like, you can, and then you can, if you want to, if your one goes down, right? There are options where you can move Lomax to 1, and then Burton comes into the center. Suwali pushes out, or Suwali at 1. So it just makes so much more sense, and it's a more well-rounded team with Burton at 14. And I genuinely believe that Michael Maguire is playing smokes and mirrors. If he isn't, then I think we got rid of Freddie for nothing. That's
mate, surely it's the case. He's because. When Birdo got picked last, was he playing for the Panthers or you boys?
No, he played for us when he got picked last. He was playing for us.
And when was that? What year was that?
I don't think it wasn't last. It was last year, but he was 18th man. He was 18th man.
When was the one he got in? He got into
2022.
Was it Gags that he got in a biff with?
Yeah, it was. It was Gags that they got into. Yeah, it was.
So that must have been 22. That must have been 22.
It was 22. Yeah, it was.
He was great, mate. He was
fantastic.
Really good. Yeah, I that's the one I'm looking at. The other one, which is Spencer Leniu over Mitchie Barnett. That's another one. I'm just a bit.
Look, I think Mitchie Barnett earned his position. I will say.
Oh, he's made for Origin.
I love Barnett, bro. Barnett, like, Adam Fanua-Blake having a bit of a hissy fit and then getting dropped, whatever. Mitchy Barnett just said, you know what, leave it to me, boys. Him and the Bunty Afoa, they're like, leave it to
Yeah.
us. We're going to get it done. We don't need to have the big name. We don't need to pretend like we're excellent. We're just going to go there and do our shit. And man, they defeated a good Dolphins team. But my biggest issue with the team is actually Jake Trbojevic. He should not be in the team. With all
Really?
due respect, he should not be in the team, bro. He's passionate about the Blues. Granted, he's got leadership. Granted, but he will run 3 meters sideways, 2 meters forward. He'll make a lot of tackles, but he's not the barnstorming forward that we need. Like, I believe Yeo should have been 13 and he'll be captain. And you have Stefano Utoikamanu starting in the front row alongside Payne Haas. Payne Haas, Stefano Utoikamanu forward, starting forward pack with Arpi there at 9. Not Reece Robson. I'm sorry, but another one, Reece Robson. Why Reece Robson? You don't have cover for 9. I'm going to explode because I can't believe that they've chosen Reece Robson at 9 and then they're expecting him to do 80 minutes at 9. Queensland have both Harry Grant and Ben Hunt, who both are individually better than Reece Robson at 9. So for me, it doesn't really make sense with some of the decisions.
Unless they play in the shift McInnes to 9 for a spell.
Have you seen McInnes play 9 for the Sharks?
No, I was going to say, hasn't been for a while. It wouldn't be until his Dragons days he's played a bit of 9.
When he's covered there, his passing hasn't been crisp. No running game, no kicking game. Whereas both Grant and Hunt have a kicking game, very crisp passing game. Can scoot out a dummy half and have great vision. Whereas Reece Robson hasn't had a great year, even by his standards at the Cowboys. So for me, how you don't have Arpi there when he's literally carrying the Tigers on his shoulders it's a very, very big miss by Michael Maguire. And the problem is there's no cover for him, even if he wanted it now. There's only McInnes. So, it's just another case of really poor selection, from the Blues squad, in my opinion.
Just be interested in sort of brand of footy he plays, because obviously it's going to be very different to Freddie. I'm excited. I don't mind the team. I'm not as critical on it. I don't mind. I actually really like Jake being captain. I think it speaks more to what Madge wants from the team. If we come out and we see a game plan, it's like, whoa, okay, now I see it. On paper, you go, but you say, okay, these guys are sort of, I get what you're trying to do here. I don't know. I just like taking them out of Coogee, getting them up to the Blue Man, just a big reset.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What are your feelings with the Teddy thing?
Look, just quickly, I want to say the saving grace for me is that I actually trust Michael Maguire as a coach, and I think he has a game plan. So I'm willing to back him all the way. I have my criticisms, but I want Reece Robson to go out there and make me look like an idiot. That's what I want. I want Jake Trbojevic to go out there and score a fucking hat trick. Like that's what I want to see. I'm happy to have egg on my face, eat humble pie, whatever. I want to see these boys go out there and just rip and tear. Like I have the feeling that Michael Maguire is the team that he's chosen is made to just bash down the front door. It's just to tackle their life off and just say, you know what? I don't care how flashy you are not getting through. You shall not bloody pass. That's that's the sense that I get.
I agree with you, mate. I agree with you.
In terms of, sorry, what was the other question you asked me? Oh, Teddy.
Because that seems to be the hot topic. The hot topic is, mate, I agree. I'm all for form over loyalty. Teddy had a pretty poor, people have short memories, man. He played
very poor.
Pretty poor by his standards. Grant, he's had a great season this year. But I don't know why Willie Mason seems to be one who just champions never dropping James Tedesco. And he'll go down as one of the great Blues players. Like, that 2018-19 series, he was phenomenal. But he was a skipper of some campaigns where we really should have won. We really should have.
100%. I'll never forget, the series winning try that he scored in 2019.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that, how he captained the 2021 team and, took control of the situation. But I'll also never forget how poor he was last year in all 3 games. And,
mate, remember when Lindsay Collins out-jumped him for that ball for Queensland? And just gone,
And look, to be honest, I think he's been good with the Roosters, but State of Origin is, if imagine how quick the game is now, and just imagine how quick it's going to be next Wednesday night, where everybody's going to be giving 100%. It's going to be quicker. The refs are going to put the whistle away, and there's going to be a lot more niggle. There's going to be a lot more pressure to perform. I just think that Dylan Edwards, I think I'm calling it. Dylan Edwards will run for 300 meters. I think he'll run for 300 meters. He's going to score a try, and he's going to save a couple of tries. Like, Dylan Edwards is not flashy, but you don't need every player in your team to be flashy.
No.
Just go out there and do the tackling, make the runs, support, and just be everywhere that you need to be. And that's why
Yeah, I was going to say, because the one criticism I found of Teddy was he just seems to stifle attack. He just you know what I mean? He get the ball when it needs to go to the halves, and you're going, "Oh, mate, what are you doing?" Like you just, you know, you're trying. We're not. It's no knock on the effort, but it's just, mate, know your place. And I think, as you were saying, summed it up beautifully. You don't need that from Dylan Edwards, but he'll play his part, and he'll give you if it's not a 10 out of 10, it's a bloody 9 out of 10 most weeks.
Yeah. He won't disappoint. And the other thing is, I actually think, as great as Dylan Edwards is, I believe his game will go to another level next Wednesday night. I know that's hard to fathom, but I actually think that Madge is going to say, "I've put my trust in you. I know you can do it, and that's why I've chosen you. Go out there and show everyone why you deserve this number one." And you know what? Dylan Edwards has never, ever, like, there have been times where he's literally the only name in the Panthers playing because everybody else is in Origin, and he's been man of the match. Like, I remember there was a time, I think it was 2022, where he was man of the match like 4 games in a row. And I was just like, how is this guy doing it? Like, what is he doing? And year after year, he improves his game. That 1 or 2% that just makes him absolutely, unbelievable in the Panthers team. And you think sooner or later he deserves a shot. I will say one thing though. I'm going to be really honest. If Turbo's not injured and he plays the whole season, or he's played every game up until now, I reckon he's fullback instead of Edwards.
Oh yeah, because he's done it.
He's absolutely very honest.
Yeah, he was one of the few players that single-handedly just absolutely pulled Queensland. And I would guarantee you Queensland would be going, I hope you guys pick Edwards over Turbo. We don't want Turbo. We don't want Turbo.
100%.
Queenslanders would be wrapped with that. Yeah, so it'd just be one of the great travesties to have a guy that's played in the last 4 grand finals, won 3 of them. What more does he got to do just because of an incumbency? I think sometimes they put incumbency a little too high. It's got its place. It absolutely has its place, but a resume like that, very rarely are you going to get a player with that much on their resume and they still get knocked back in front of a guy that hasn't performed.
And he's not Edwards isn't a passenger. Like, in every grand final, he's made an absolute mark on the game. Like that try-saving tackle, the Scotty Sattler-esque tackle. I'll never ever forget that. The way that he ran, like in last year's grand final, the way he kept going, he never gave up, kept tackling, kept running, kept tackling until Nathan Cleary took charge, and he was there marshalling the troops every single time, telling people where to go, keeping the spirits up, and still running and taking the hard carries when the team seemed down. Like these are not qualities that every fullback has. Like you can look at a flashy fullback, even Kalyn Ponga, for example, and you think he's great and he can potentially win you the game with a miracle ball, but that's still got a 50-50 chance. Whereas Dylan Edwards, you're getting the 99, the 1% is all done perfectly 100% of the time, and you can rely on him.
Yeah.
Whereas Ponga, it may work, it may not.
Yeah.
Even though he's, Ponga is probably the better fullback.
Yeah,
Edwards is the more reliable, more consistent. So look, I can't wait. Honestly, I
cannot
wait.
Mate. I can't believe it's already upon us, mate. It's like, oh my, pinching yourself.
It's what's the song? It's the most wonderful time.
It
is, bro. It is. It's just, I cannot wait. I'm making plans. Boys, guys, just just that kickoff, bro, when the whistle blows.
Oh yeah.
If only we had Rabs doing one more game, just one more game.
Aren't they trying to talk him into doing Origin game number 100 or something?
That's right, because he's done 99. Yeah, because he's done 99.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. And then maybe Gaskell doing the one more, the final word.
Or he hasn't done that for a while. I never minded those. As a New South Welshman, I loved them. But
he doesn't. He said he won't do them anymore. He said it's over, and he's just too old for it and stuff like that. And it took a lot of prep. Honestly, like, Bro, it added so much hype to the game. Just hearing him talk
Mm.
with the crowd in the background, and sometimes when it was raining, it's anyway, bro. Origin, I cannot wait.
God, I wish
We
he'd
can
come
we can.
back for coach.
Oh,
There was, I just, mate, the pinnacle for Origin was the early 2000s. Gus, and we had a stack of players, man. We had Joey, Bedsy, Tamana,
yes.
Gidley, Simpson, Kennedy, like so many
Oh, it was
Knights players. It's such a great
my
team.
favorite New South Wales player of all time. You're never going to believe who it is.
Who's that?
Danny Badiris.
Yeah, Danny.
I love Danny Badiris. I'll always love
Yeah.
Danny Badiris. And, you know, as great as Cameron Smith was, I always thought Danny Badiris, while not as good as Cameron Smith, and I don't think anyone will ever be as good as Cameron Smith in any position, Danny Badiris was up there as one of the best nines we've ever seen. I honestly,
Yeah.
I
It gets
hold
slept
that.
on, eh?
Oh, bro, he gets slept on hard. Like,
Mm.
name it. Like, for example, I can't think back. Like, other than maybe Benny Elias, he was great, but I still think I'd have Badiris above him. I have no
Oh,
doubt that Danny Badiris is probably after Cameron Smith. I can't really think of any other nine I would have
yeah.
as the second to Cameron Smith. I really don't. But Danny Badiris was everything for me for New South Wales. He was
Yeah.
just the passion, the captaincy, the energy, everything was there. Like, he was just amazing.
He was a gun.
Michael DeVere was one that I really liked as well. Just thinking about it
Oh, yeah,
now.
Mick DeVere. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Michael DeVere. He was just such a good player. He was not the best, but he always gave 100%. I don't know why it just occurred to me. But anyway, we've been going for almost an hour and a half. It's been so good to talk to you, Lincoln. Final word. What's the score?
Mate, it's going to be, I'm going to go the Knights 20, Doggies 8. 28, Davey Armstrong. Davey Armstrong double, mate. He's electric, that kid. He's just going to keep on doing what he's doing, mate. So lock it in.
I'm going to go.
What do you got? Come on.
I'm going to go 36-16 to the Bulldogs, right?
Okay.
And it's going to be a tussle in the first half, but the Bulldogs will come home strong.
Okay. All right. Very good. And before I forget too, I tried to find the statistic. When was the last time before last week the Doggies put 40 on a team?
So we put 40 on team. I think it was 2017, but the last time we put on more than 44 was actually round 9 2012 against the Eels.
Get out of town.
Yeah, we put 46 on them in round 9 2012. And this is the most we've scored since then. So it's been 12 years, almost to the day, that we've scored this many points against the team.
Wow. Good for you, mate. Good for you. It's not going to happen this week, but good for you, pal.
I think that the Knights will be way more competitive than the Dragons. I don't think that the Dragons. I don't think the Knights will fall over like the Dragons did. But I genuinely think that our defense is going to absolutely suffocate you guys. And I only say that it's because we've done it to much, much, much tougher teams. Like the Panthers are a fantastic team. They only Penrith only put 16 points on us. The Storm in Melbourne only put 16 points on us. The last 4 games we've lost by 6 points or less. And so us losing by a margin by more than, say, 6 or 8 points, I just don't see it happening. And I actually see that our defense is going to continue to improve, especially because if the forward pack, if the bench will be as big as I think it will be, I think that it nullifies some of that advantage that you have with the bigger forward pack. And if you guys are making only, say, 30 or 35 meters every set against us, I think that we make more meters than you guys per set. And that's when the likes of Connor Tracy, Sexton, Hutcho, Fox, Wilson will start to really show their wares. And so that's where my thinking is at. And I know you've analyzed your team well, but I just feel like maybe even we're still underestimating what the Bulldogs are actually doing this year. And while we don't have, we're not in the top 4 or even really in the top 8, we're going a lot better than what the table suggests. A lot better. Like, our defense is second best in the league, and our attack is actually pretty good. I think we're in the top 8 in attack as well. So, but look, it'll be a good game. I'll be very interested to message you after the game. I'll be very, very interested to see what happens after the game.
So will I, mate. I'll have the phone on me, mate. I'll be checking my messages, all right?
For sure.
You reckon the Doggies will get their first away win for 2024?
Yeah, I think we will. Because
Okay.
I think all of our away wins, while they've been away, have been, as I said, by 6 points or less, and or the last 4 at least have been 6 points or less. And the other thing as well is that it wasn't like a home advantage that that stopped us from winning or anything like that. It was, a missed conversion or really last minute play or something like that. So I just feel like some of those statistics about not winning away from home, I don't really feel they apply as such to us. And like we've still got a really good team. Like losing Kikau is big, but we just replaced him with Preston. So for me, it's like we're not too disadvantaged. It would be better if we had Crichton, Burton, and Kikau, but I still think our team is very, very well rounded, and our bench with Karen, Farmasuli, Moran, and Haywood there is still a very, very, very strong bench, and that's why I think we're just going to be a little bit too good for the Knights.
Okay, mate. The bookies disagree. I disagree, but hey, let the best team win, brother. Let the best team win.
Well, are you saying that you guys are favourites?
We are. I think we're $1.50, and you guys are about $2.60. I think last time I checked.
Music to my ears.
I'm pretty sure that was last time I checked. Let's just short up a little bit, but yes.
Music to my ears.
So, well, bit of value, you reckon?
May the best team win. Really, really hope it's a good game. I just want to see a good competitive game. I don't want to see any team, neither mine nor yours, shit themselves. I just want to see a really competitive game. And even if my team loses, I hope it's a close loss. If your team, I hope we smash you guys. But if it's I won't be too disappointed if it's a small win either.
66-0. Ring a bell.
Yeah, look, man.
Yeah, I'll take another one of those, mate.
Oh, I know you will, but you won't get them. You won't get them. Those days are long gone. You'll be lucky to score a try against us this weekend.
Okay. Well, as you said, brother, may the best team win, mate. May the best team.
Love
win.
it. Thank you so much again for
No worries, Abdul. Appreciate you having me on, pal.
Absolute love. Thanks, guys. Look, I really appreciate you guys, everyone joining. If you stayed this far, you've joined us in the deep end. Jump in for a swim. Please be sure to subscribe to all the socials of United. I'll have all the links down below. Subscribe to us. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Leave your comments. Tell us who you think is going to win. And reach out to the United, like their socials, and engage in some banter. Lincoln's a wonderful guy, and some of the stuff, the content they creates is fantastic. And again, may the best team win. Thanks again, Lincoln.
Thanks, Abdul. Appreciate it, brother.